In today's video, we are gonna react and read 1-star reviews of some of my favorite sewing tools. If you've been here for a while, you maybe have picked up on that I do not like to buy too many sewing tools. I already have a video on sewing tools I think you should make instead of buying, as well as I recently put up a video on 14 plus household items that you can use in your sewing. But there are some favorite tools out there that I do like to use, and I checked up the reviews on these items on Amazon and I found some pretty hilarious 1-star reviews. Hi, my name is Matilda and welcome back to Miss Matti, the channel where I share all about sewing, knitting, mending and generally how to live an awesome and sustainable life. So I got inspiration from this video from two different YouTubers. The first one is Shelby, who has a channel called Shelby Sell here on YouTube, where she talks about zero waste, sustainable living, and how to be, as she calls it, an eco-minimalist. I love that term. And in her video, she reacts to some of her favorite zero waste swaps. And the other one is my favorite skincare YouTuber, Cassandra Bankson, who reacts to terrible reviews of her favorite skincare products. I will link to both of these videos in the description box down below if you need more funny review entertainment after watching this video. But let's get into starting reacting to some funny 1-star reviews. The first product that I'm gonna react to is the Alpha 45mm rotary cutter. It's one of my favorite sewing tools and also many other people's favorite sewing tool, but not everyone's. Too hard to control. Expensive and useless so-called tool. Oh, how I wish I was a more informed shopper. Time to put the credit card away and cancel Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to cancel that Amazon Prime if you're buying things you do not need. So I do not really know what they mean when they're saying that it's too hard to control. Personally, I think it's pretty easy to control, and that's why I love this sewing tool. And I also think that's why many others love the rotary cutters as well. But there are certain situations when a rotary cutter is not the easiest. For example, if you do a lot of curves around a pattern piece, yeah, then I prefer to cut with my tailor's shears instead. So maybe this is what this person wanted to cut and therefore don't find it very satisfactory. But who knows, we didn't really get any more details than that. Let's read some more reviews on rotary cutters. Excellent! The price was great and it worked really well. I used it to make a fleece tie blanket, cut all the strips with it, was delivered in a few days. But why, Caroline, would you give it 1-star review then? This always bugs me. Did you think 1 is like it means best and 5 means worst? Okay, this one is actually a good point. No use for dressmaking. Bought it to use with a cutting mat to cut out dress fabric, thinking it would speed things up. I was wrong. Even with a replacement blade, it was still no use for cutting anything remotely curved or for more than one layer of fabric. Tried it on squares instead to make a patchwork quilt, and it was a little bit better, but it still need neatening and scissors afterwards. Yeah, so that's exactly what I said earlier. It's not the best for a lot of curves, and I often find that many of my cuts need a lot of neatening up. I think that's part of the process. Maybe there are some secret skills out there to do it right from the start. Most likely there are, but I haven't learned those yet. Don't recommend terrible blades. Blades come blunt after very little use. Once my replacement blades fall of suit, I will not be ordering any more Alpha blades. This is a very poor product. So this is something that several people have written as well. I personally have had my blades for way too long and really need to replace them now. I was pretty happy with mine because they lasted for so long, so I do not really know what happened there. And the next product that we're gonna look at is Frayja. I love Frayja, I use it a lot, And if you watched many of my videos, you might have noticed this, but not everyone loves it apparently. Leaking, refused return, 3 exclamation marks. Package arrived damaged, crushed and leaking. I contacted Amazon through chat and was told I cannot do anything about it. No returns. They said I have to contact the product manufacturer for help. I don't understand because this item was fulfilled by Amazon. Okay, this actually sounds terrible. And the issue has nothing to do with the manufacturer. However, the representative I spoke with through chat was short, responding and rude. They closed the chat on me when I mentioned this not being a fault of the manufacturer. They ran through the "Did we answer your question? Okay, bye," and closed the chat before I could respond. That's awful. I really hope this person got this resolved. I shouldn't have paid for this and neither should the manufacturer. $10 down the drain and extremely disappointed. Oh, I'm super sorry, Anna smiles. That sounds actually awful. That seemed to be an issue with Amazon and not the product though. Yeah, it's super disappointing when this happens to you, when you place orders online and they do not take you seriously, or they're trying to like, no, this is a responsibility with this, instead of actually solving your issue, because this customer would of course be super happy if you sent a replacement for her. Why does it smell like perfume? I used Frayja for 20 years and it's never had any scent. This 2-pack from Amazon smells so strong, like perfume or spray starch. I had to throw away the items I used it on. It's not a terrible smell, but it's overwhelmingly strong. I'm afraid to order more Frayja now in case I get this scented version again. Nothing on the package says it's scented. It's almost like I need to go and smell my Frayja, but I do not think that's good for your health. I am quite sensitive to scents, and I do not think it's too bad. I mean, it smells like what it smells like. It's not the nicest smell, but I do not have as much aversion to this as this reviewer. Okay, the next customer says, this doesn't work. I used Frayja for the last 25 years for sewing and other products. I bought this and there is something off about it. It doesn't smell the same and it does not work. It is supposed to fuse or glue seams and things together. All this did was making my cording wet and then nothing. It started unraveling. Oh, that's terrible. Not sure if they changed the formula or not, but it's not the same. I can't return it because it's flammable. I haven't used Frayja for that long, so I do not know if anything has changed. If you have, let us all know in a comment down below because I'm super curious. But there's also one other thing I want to say here. This reviewer talks about it's meant to fuse seams and things together, and that's just not fully correct. I mean, it's meant to be there to make sure that your seam edges are not fraying, or if you put it on like your buttonholes, that those are not unfraying, or if you cut off your overlocker threads, that they are not fraying. But Frayja isn't meant to be used to fuse seams together. I think then you need to go and buy fabric glue or some of those heat and bond strips, or just use needle and thread, not Frayja. Then there's another one that also says, not what it used to be. I wonder if this is a fake product. It's not what I've used in the past. It's watery. I put some on my finger. It has perfume fragrance and basically dried as if nothing was on my hand. So I have not tried to use it on my finger, but when it accidentally have ended up there, yeah, it doesn't dry like it's nothing. I can guarantee that. So I have a suspicion that some of these products are not real Frayja. There is an issue with counterfeit products on Amazon. I know they're supposed to check this. Amazon as a company has a responsibility to make sure that they do not fulfill counterfeit goods, but this is something that I've heard a lot about when it comes to skincare and makeup specifically. So I'm wondering if this also has then started happening with sewing tools like Frayja, for example. Because I do not recognize this whole watery consistency that does do nothing, because my Frayja works really well. Okay, the next product we're gonna look at is Tailorstock. Who knew that there were gonna be bad reviews about Tailorstock, but there are. Sadly, also a lot of people got them broken, which I find really upsetting. Mine was super packaged, which is probably a result of all of these reviews, I would suspect. At least they're listening. I ordered these shorts and was very disappointed when I received them broken. I also was to get one blue, red, white and yellow, and I received 2 blue and no white. I would like to return them for a full refund. Yeah, I would also if mine arrived broken. I got all the colors as advertised in mine, but there seems to be another issue that people have. And yeah, I think it's super important that if you advertise specific colors, that you get those colors that are advertised, especially when it comes to things like tailor's chalk, because different colors work differently on different fabrics. Bad quality, dried out already. It has dried out. You have to go over U-line multiple times for any noticeable line. Not a recommend product, poor quality. So I have a completely different experience with mine. I used to have tailor's chalk that was exactly like she describes, and I couldn't get a nice line without putting a lot of pressure on it. I find that these are actually pretty good. Maybe the quality is just not consistent or something. Useless, a waste of money. What the company called chalk is really granite. Impossible to mark clothing without marring the fabric. I guess they meant marking the fabric. Or what do you mean marring? Is that a word I missed? I'm super confused. What does marrying mean? Let me check this up. Oh, we're learning a new word, reading Amazon reviews. Mar is a verb. Impair the appearance of or disfigure. Or impair the quality of and spoil. Oh yeah, that would be very upsetting if my tailor's chalk would mar my fabric. Using new words that we're learning today. Next one up is a hero marker. I love mine, but apparently not everyone does. Let's read some of the reviews. These are all fake reviews, or I got a defective item that does not work. No matter what color I tried, it basically does nothing. Is this person reviewing the correct product? The hero marker is not meant to give out a color. It's just to mark a crease line. I'm super confused. And this is another one. Useless. This pen did nothing for helping keep a 1/4 to 1.5 inch seam folded. Very disappointed. Yeah, there's a specific technique to use the hero marker, and if you do not really know how to use it, it can seem like it's not working. I will link to a tutorial down below, which you can check out if you do not know how to use one, because it is one of those tools I think you do need a little bit of a guidance how to use it best. Richard writes, junk. Useless piece of junk. Expected more. I hope it would be easier to use when folding down seams, but the liquid spilled and didn't stay in a line like advertised. Which liquid? I mean, I'm super confused because it's first of all crease lines, as we already established, and then on top of that, yes, your crease lines will be removed if you spill liquid on it. Because I assume that she must have spilled some water on it. Yeah, that will happen because they're not meant to be permanent. They're just meant to help you like mark out lines where you want to quilt or help you fold a seam. Yeah, it's not a permanent crease, if that's what you wanted. So the next product we're gonna read reviews for is my steam iron, my Reventa Eco Intelligence one. Sadly, it's no longer sold here in Canada, but it's still sold in Europe, the same one I have, but of course compliant with European plugs. So let's read some of these reviews. There's some very angry Italians I discovered when I was doing some research for this video. Amazon Italy, you did not do a good job here. Carlos says, that wasn't what I was looking for. Iron looks good, sturdy, well built, and definitely beautiful and comfortable. But the steam management only automatically does not like it. Okay, I think this is translated from Italian, so this might explain the confusion going on here. It decides him how much steam to emit. You're practically obliged to iron holding the boost button always pressured. Returned immediately and purchase the top model where the amount of steam is selectable at will. Yeah. I have had my moments though, I must admit. I love this iron, but when I feel like, come on steam, come on, we need more. So I can relate to Carlo a little bit, but I find it It's a pretty good iron. I guess it depends on what you're looking for. Disappointed but he flees. I'm super confused. I think this is translated from French. Let me see if we can see the original. Déçu car il fuit. Okay, back to the review. Hello, very happy with iron for ironing, but for a leak-proof iron, very disappointed because it leaks, water stains on garment. Use 3 times always the same thing. Plus, at the level of the sole, the first use, its sole has turned black in some places. See photo, I can clean it, but it always comes back. That's interesting. And this has definitely not happened to mine. I wonder if she has ironed something that got stuck on the iron. Any ironing experts out here that can give us an idea what's going on? So I do not really find that this iron leaks. The only times it happens is when I go beyond the maximum level of water that you're allowed to put in it. And then I really just have myself to blame. Yeah, I would love to hear if any of you have had this iron, if you had any problems with it, or if you, like me, are very satisfied. So the next product is the Janome walking foot, also known as Janome even feed foot with quilting guide, horizontal rotary hook models. Okay, let's check out the 1-star reviews. So there seemed to be a pretty fair complaint going on here, which I also as a customer would find really annoying. It's that a lot of people have ordered this walking foot and it doesn't fit their machine, despite the product listing claiming it would. So it seems to be that this walking foot is only for machines that have a horizontal bobbin and not a vertical one. But it has claimed to fit a lot of models that have a vertical bobbin. And this is something I have discovered on Amazon when it comes to presser feet. It seems like so many sellers are so desperate to get you to come to their product listing. It seems like many of the sellers are just doing this whole keyword stuffing, trying to put all the brand names for sewing machines and all the models in, without actually double checking if these presser feet actually work with these sewing machines. So I'm completely with everyone that complains about this, because I think it's just bad customer service to falsely advertise in your product listing. But here are some other reviews. Stops working way too quick. Only works a few days. Even when you tie the arm to the screw, it does not work after a few long days of sewing. Sew every day, 7 days a week. These are for occasional sewers, not for someone who sews a lot unless you want to buy 50 a year. And then another one is waste of money, broke after using a few months. Not authentic Janome, came in generic packaging, waste of money. So this is where I'm yet again suspect that there is some counterfeit going on. Or a generic brand presser foot that they just advertise as a Janome presser foot, which they're now currently charging astronomical sums for on Amazon, because currently it goes for $60 Canadian. What? I did not pay that much for mine. I think I paid like $35-40 Canadian, but I definitely did not pay $60 for mine. That's ridiculous. And then we had this one that I found quite interesting. Doesn't work. This was a waste of money for me. It didn't grip my fabric and I ended up sewing with paper under my fabric to get it to feed. Wish I could get my money back. So I'm not fully sure what happened here, because I find that this foot feeds really well, but I do think there is a lot of people out there that do think that the walking foot is some type of magic tool. Just put it in and it will just stitch for you. No, you need to still guide it like you do when you use a normal presser foot. It just helps with thicker fabrics, it helps to do top stitching, it helps to do quilting, and also they can help with certain fabrics that can be hard to sew in, like velvet or corduroy, for example. So I really want to know, what was she trying to do? Did she try to do some walking foot quilting on a quilt, and it was a very big quilt that might have been pulling when she was trying to quilt it? Or did she try to sew for some very heavy duty fabric? Or did she try to do some top stitching on jeans? It's really hard to tell what's going on here. My imagination says that she maybe was quilting a quilt, and of course, if you are quilting a quilt on a normal domestic sewing machine, if you do not fold it correctly, it will pull, and it definitely will not work. But I do find it very interesting, this paper solution she had. If anyone has any idea what this might be, let me know, because I am so curious. And then we have this one, not sure how to use it. I bought this foot but wasn't really sure how to attach it to my machine. I'm not really sure if I even know why I ordered it or how to use it. You need to screw it on, and I think if you have never used a presser foot that you need to screw on, and you normally have the clip-on presser feet, yeah, it can be quite confusing. But YouTube, my dear, YouTube will guide you how to do this. So the next product might sound really ridiculous to read the reviews on. It's a tape measure. I actually do need a new tape measure because I have somewhere, it's a split here. And they do get old eventually and stretched out and not measuring accurately, but I will definitely not be getting the same one as I have here, because the ones the reviews are telling me that the measurements are not accurate. Doesn't measure in inches. Terrible product. Took months to ship and wasn't even accurate. Each inch on this was in between 1.25 and 1.5 inches. Completely crap product given the time I wasted. Essentially worthless. I bought it to replace a tape measured puppy chewed in half. The new one is missing the first 1/8 inch, so if you start measuring from the 2 mark, you might be accurate. The pink one is the Singer and the blue is my old Ritz. Oh no, tape came ripped. I wonder what else can be made in China that will be junk and bear the name of an old respected American brand. What a piece of garbage this item is. Inch measurement is off, and it was ripped at one end like a piece of paper. Don't bother to buy this. So I totally get this frustration with products that used to be good that are no longer good. But I also want to just say that I do not like this whole everything made in China is crap attitude, because it really isn't. There is a lot of bad products that are manufactured in China, absolutely. But I just do not like that we have labeled everything made in China as bad. There's a lot of awesome things that are made in China. I used to intern for a brand that made amazing silk products that were all made in China. And sometimes when we had sales meetings, we got comments from buyers that, oh, it's made in China, you know, like it was a problem. But the reality is that China has a silk tradition of thousands of years, and a lot of craft and skills that are very valuable and of high quality and craftsmanship. So I just do not like this whole, now it's made in China, now it's crap. That has not to do with China, that has to do with our sort of capitalistic system where we are exploiting countries that have cheaper costs of manufacturing to create a lot of disposable and not so great products. That's my rant. That's my 2 cents for you. Okay, we have a really funny one here. Unpleasant, cheap, harsh smell. If this was chamomile, it was a poor, rancid, stale version I do not recognize. Chamomile is a wonderful, soothing, mildly sweet, aromatic oil. And this was a wretched, rancid, harsh-smelling oil with chemical undertones. Won't be buying this brand again. I think this person has reviewed the wrong product. I mean, this is not an oil and it's not chamomile. I think she was meant to review chamomile and essential oils and reviewed a tape measure. Yeah, make sure that you review the correct products. I'm not sure if this person actually reviewed the wrong product because we have this review coming up afterwards. Fine, but smells awful. Bought this to measure for face masks. Had I known that it smelled absolutely vile, I would have just risked the dollar store. It is rancid plastic, otherwise did its job very briefly. Yeah, I don't like that plasticky smell either, but I never experienced it with tape measures. Definitely will not order this product again. I really hope you enjoyed reading and reacting to these reviews with me. And if you like this video, you most likely will like these videos over here as well. And until next time, bye!